Hello, B1 family, and welcome back to the YouTube channel, The Big Black American Secret. I am your host, Daniel Jackson, and the secret is you are an Aboriginal American. I won't get into to explaining all of that to you, but there's a few things you can do. You're an Aboriginal American based on the definition in the year 1828, the definition of American. You are an Aboriginal in the fact that if you talk to your oldest living relatives, the ones who know, they'll tell you what your true ancestry is. You are an Aboriginal American because there was laws set against you, against our people, to tell anybody who you were. You can Google the Racial Integrity Act. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm not going to talk about that today. But I'm just letting you know. The title of this YouTube channel is called The Big Black American Secret, and the Big Black American Secret is you are an Aboriginal American, aka an American Indian, aka an Indigenous American. You know, this continent, North America, South America, and the Caribbean islands belong to you. You are not an African slave. In fact, those 20-odd Africans who came to Jamestown by way of ship in the year 1619 were pirated off a Spanish ship. They were slaves of Spanish captors in the West Indies, not from Africa. You're on the right channels. Hang with me, subscribe, share, and like. Now, before I get into the story today was what I want to talk about. It's one that hits home for me, for sure, is the Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Department Deputy Clyde Kerr III. Earlier this month, he took his life. He took his life. This was his personal protest against the killing of innocent, unarmed black people here in America. This warrior took his life to bring awareness to this subject. Now, this man, he was a warrior in every sense of the word. He served in the military, went to Afghanistan, from what I understand, and a few other tours, and he's a police officer. Unfortunately, in the system of racism, white supremacy, he was simply a tool. He was a tool. You understand? And that pressure built up on him, and he couldn't deal with it. Now I'm gonna play a video by him. It's not very long, and I don't want any copyright strikes. It's purely for educational purposes. But before I get into that, I'm gonna read the goal of this channel. And I believe if this officer knew what I'm about to tell you and what you're going to learn about the system of racism, white supremacy, he not only would not have killed himself, he would have probably became a very useful person against the system of racism, white supremacy. We need more people on the team like him. We need warriors. Okay? So if you are a police officer, if you are a military person, please pay very close attention to what I'm finna talk to you about. And then there's a video in the description. There will be a video in the description from Dr. Francis Cress-Welsing that explains the system of racism, white supremacy. Every black person in the world needs to understand this system. It is an invisible system. It is an invisible system that is fucking you every day, and you don't know it. So much so, it caused this man to kill himself. Now, I'm going to read this goal. Very important. It's not very long. I'm just going to read it, get it out the way. It's very important, okay? The goal of this channel is to build an unstoppable army of knowledgeable, black, melanated people in America and around the world that understand that we as melanated people have one enemy worldwide, and that enemy is the system of racism, white supremacy. Our mission through education is to replace this evil system with a system of freedom, justice, and equality as laid out by Dr. Francis Cress-Welsing. We will need your help in building this knowledgeable army. You can help by subscribing to this channel, by donating to this cause through Cash App or PayPal, and by sharing the videos you watch and or any knowledge shared. In doing so, together we help fertilize the mentally enslaved, colonized minds of black melanated people worldwide, creating the perfect mental conditions for our children to grow up in a better, more balanced world. Okay, now again, I'm gonna play this video by this young warrior, and then we'll get into to talking about what we need to talk about. Okay. So if I can get it to play. I've
had enough of all of this nonsense of serving a system that does not give a damn about me or people like me. This killing that's going on, especially by the police, which I am. I can't abide by this no more. I'm not having anything to do with this nonsense anymore. You have no idea how hard it is to put a uniform on in this day and age with everything that's going on. Floyd? Man. Brianna? Right. I'm telling you, it's not. If this feels right to you as a person, then something is wrong with you. This is the furthest thing from right. I'm not doing it anymore. Loved my job. Loved it. Loved every aspect of it. Finally found something I could call my own and made it my own. And, but this is bigger than that. And I'm not gonna do that. There's no way I can just be like, oh, okay, it's no big deal. No, this is a very big deal to me. This is a tipping point. And just to continue to think that we can just do what we've been doing and then just hit the status quo like that and people, no whatsoever. This is wrong. It needs to be resisted against, and you have an obligation and a duty to do that. Because if not, you're complacent. But as I would be complacent if I continue just doing what I am doing and not saying anything. I've tried to bring things to people's attention, little small things, but it's a system, and I'm a small cog in this whole big machine. But I can tell you this: there's more good people than bad. Y'all need to figure that out real quick, because it's the truth. It is the absolute truth. And if y'all ain't got each other's back, then you're going to continue to divide and conquer and just sow dissension and everything between people who actually probably make it be out a good ally. This is my protest against police brutality and everything else that comes along with it in this broken, wicked, worldly system that does not give a damn about people. I don't know what it cares about, but it don't care about us. It truly don't. It does not.
I'm gonna rewind that because that part of this thing is very important. I'm gonna see if I can rewind that a little bit. He said that he noticed that it's a system, but he don't know exactly, and the system don't care about people like him, black people. But he don't know what the system cares about. Did you understand his confusion? He don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm gonna try to rewind this a little bit.
It cares about, but it don't care about us. It truly don't. This is my protest against police brutality and everything else that comes along with it in this broken, wicked, worldly system that does not give a damn about people. I don't know what it cares about, but it don't care about us. It truly don't. It does not. It does not. So, I hope y'all do something with that.
Yeah, and when I saw that interview and a few other ones, I noticed something immediately. And I pointed out toward the end there. He noted there's something going on, but he ain't sure exactly what's going on. Why are things going on the way they're going on? And he was right. It is a system, and it's bigger than him. Yeah, it's way bigger than any of us. And he also said that, they're good people, and I guess he means people like himself. People who work in the police department who want better, who want to see better, but are powerless against this system. You understand? And I understand it wholeheartedly, 100%, because I've lived long enough to experience this beast firsthand. And be honest with you, a lot of us experience this beast firsthand, but we don't know what it is. Now, let me just give you a little backdrop. And I tell this story a few times in other different videos, so I'll tell it now. I didn't experience a whole lot of racism growing up because I grew up in a small black town called East Chicago Heights, Illinois. Fort Heights was renamed Fort Heights later on. This little town is just south of Chicago. It's in the south suburb of Chicago, going toward Indiana. All of my teachers were black. Maybe one teacher, Mr. Douglas, was a white fellow. And police chief was black. The mayor was black. We had black businesses in the town, small black businesses. It was a pretty good black mecca. Now, I didn't understand it at the time, and I wish I had understood the dynamics. Unfortunately, basically due to the system of racism, white supremacy, as I got older, I was taught through just living that my little area was poor, not worth a damn, it was a bad place. So much so that I wouldn't even put East Chicago Heights, Fort Heights on my job application. I would put Chicago Heights. And growing up in the city, in a little town, I didn't really experience the badness of it, but when I would be at school and hear people talk about my little area, it's like, oh, that's a bad place, there's, bad people there, And I guess, start believing what I was hearing. And it's a damn shame. You understand? And like every town and every city that's black, the United States government flooded it with drugs. And everybody knows what come along with drugs. Okay? The Ronald Reagan era really did a job on black cities on purpose. Now, that being said, I didn't really experience racism growing up. So fast forward, I move away, because again, when you don't understand that your own little town and city is actually a pretty good place, the goal is not to per se move away from your town. No, you go away, you get some education, then you come back to your town and you help further build it up. But because I was deceived as to my town's value in my own little mind, I couldn't wait to get away from it. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you, it brings me pride, and this is off subject, but it brings me pride to know that a lot of other people that did grow up in the town, some people, not a lot, did stay in the town. They went through what they had to go through, but they're now trying to rebuild. And I'm so proud to hear this. And I talk to some people that I spend time growing up with, and I see things. And it's about time for it. You understand? But anyway, back on subject. I didn't really understand racism growing up. I didn't have any negative situations on racism growing up. That's the whole reason I mentioned that. Didn't experience racism firsthand until I got well into my, 40s. Early on, entrepreneur. I had my own business in Chicago, and then after that, I moved to Atlanta, and ended up getting out of the business I was in, and I started managing. I was an assistant store manager with Kroger in Atlanta. Didn't experience any racism in Atlanta because all of my upper management was black, and everybody who worked for me was black. You know what I'm saying? So when I tell people to do something, they did it. There was no pushback. There was none of that. In fact, insubordination is a fireable offense. Okay? So I left the Atlanta market in Kroger, and I went to South Georgia. In fact, Montgomery, Alabama. I ended up in Montgomery, Alabama, working with Winn-Dixie. And with Winn-Dixie, they were further in the country, middle Georgia, in fact. So I get assigned to this one store, and Sylvania, Georgia. And so I've been, telling people what to do my whole life, seems like, in management, that is, owning my own business and stuff. So I'm not used to people giving me much pushback. I'm used to having the support of the people above me. When I ask somebody to do something, I expect it to be done. Now, I'm not a harsh taskmaster. It's always please and thank you. And I'm firm, fair, and friendly, the 3 F's, but I am direct, as I believe most managers should be, But so when I was receiving this pushback from people, I didn't quite understand it. So my first thought was, well, maybe they just not used to me. I just need to get used to them. So I would kind of lay back a little bit and just have regular conversation with people. Try to build some rapport. You understand? You get up, you go up to people, and you ask them about themselves, family members, things they enjoy. This always works, always have. But not on these people. You know what I'm saying? Because I was still getting this pushback. As a matter of fact, my name is Daniel. And I noticed on more than one occasion, a few of these white people will go, hey, Mr. Daniel, is it okay if I call you Dan? And I never liked the name Dan, so I said, no, I'm good with either Mr. Daniel or Mr. Jackson, And okay. And I want you to just park that in the back of your head, Dan, right? Until I get to the end of the story. So, long story short, after a few more of these episodes of getting pushback on what I needed done, I talked to my store director who worked with me in the store. He's my boss. He's a white fellow, a little younger than me. And he was like, well, maybe you just need to be less directive and, get to be more friendly with people. Maybe that'll work. He said, because I'm not having any issues with the people. I said, okay, I'll try that. So I did. And so after none of that worked, I called Human Resources and I said, hey, Miss Resource Lady, here's the issues I'm having in the store. I'm getting a lot of pushback and I'm not understanding it. I've had a meeting with my store director let's say a month ago, and he says, well, I just probably need to be less directive, be more personable with the employees, and you shouldn't have a problem. Okay. And so I've tried that and it's still not happening. So that's why I'm calling Human Resources. I don't know what's going on. I was told I've got a pretty good team there. They've always performed well, and that maybe you could try a little harder. Okay, so I did. I kept trying harder. So the pressure was starting to get to me. I've got no support on what's going on from my immediate supervisor. When I say support, here's what I'm talking about. If I'm asking somebody to do something and they get an attitude about it and dragging their ass about doing it, that's called pushback. My immediate supervisor above me should step in and say, hey, I notice the attitude. I notice you're giving pushback to your superior. What is the problem? Do we need to have a talk? You see what I'm saying? I was not backed up. You understand? And that causes morality problems. Because if you're not backed up by your people above you, then the people you work with are not going to respect you. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Now, that's just common fucking sense. In management, that's just common sense. You have to be backed up by your superiors. Okay? That wasn't going on. And I was a little confused by it. Quite a bit. I was actually quite confused by it. But I did my best to be less directive, over the top friendly, and this shit still wasn't working, right? So I'm drinking real heavy. I'm depressed. I done gained about 40 fucking pounds, I think. And physically and mentally, I'm not feeling my best. I was dreading going to work. And part of our duties was when you come in on your shift, you do a freshness check. You go to each department and you check stuff out of dates, and you just give it a quick glance and you make sure you're ready for the business that day. So I come in, I think it was about 1 p.m. and the deli department, I noticed some out of date lunch meat. It's where you get your shaved meat, And so the assistant manager was there, and I asked him, let's call him John. I said, John, if you don't mind, you've got a couple out of date items here. I'm counting at least 4. There may be more. Why don't you all just kind of stop what you're doing, get together and take care of this real quick, and then get back to what you're working on. He says, nope, I'm not doing it. I said, John, I don't think you understand. You got out of meat in your department. Somebody can get sick from this. Let's just take care of it real quick and get back to it. Nope, they should have caught that this morning. I'm not doing it. I said, all right, John, let's go to the office. We need to talk. We need to have a serious talk. So my boss is sitting in the office, and so we get in the office. And I say, excuse me, I'm gonna just call him boss. Excuse me, boss. I've got some out of dates in the deli department. I asked the assistant manager here, John, to take care of it. He told me no. Is that or is that not a fireable offense? This motherfucker act like the phone rung. He picked it up. He says, hello. Oh, yeah, I'll be there in a minute. Hung up and got the fuck on. He left. I said, ain't this some shit? I said, listen here, John. You get that goddamn meat out the counter. And I cursed this time. I said, get that goddamn meat out of the counter. Right now. Now, I think either later that day or the next day, I caught up with my boss. And I say, listen here, boss. I'm confused as to what took place yesterday. Him refusing to do what I asked him to do, is that or is that not a fireable offense? He says, well, Daniel, technically they should have caught that in the morning time. And I'm gonna be honest with you, he should have caught it in the morning because he was supposed to do a freshness check. You see what I'm saying? So to some degree, he was covering his own ass by not backing me up, and that too bothered me. But anyway, we won't stir, won't get too far off on that. But anyway, so I think about a week passed, and this episode that got behind me. He said we're not going to write them up. We'll talk to all the departments, and we'll just nip all of this in the bud at a big meeting. We'll have a meeting. All right, whatever. In the back of my mind, I'm going, you asshole. You know what I'm saying? Because he was partially at fault there. Anyway, so I'm doing a store walk or checking some out of dates or whatever. I mean, some empty. Okay. They give us a scanner. When there's an empty spot on the shelf, we shoot a tag. It'll tell us if we have items in the back that can go on the shelf. And then, we'll get this big list to print out, and we'll just have somebody go and fill those holes. So I'm doing that throughout the store. It's probably about 3 in the afternoon. So this one guy in good spirits, white guy, came up to me, and he says, hey, buddy. He says, what do you call a restaurant where the owner is a Mexican fellow and his wife is a black lady? What do you call that? What do you name that restaurant? And I didn't know. So I was halfway paying attention. He says, Nacho Mamas, and start to walk off just smiling and laughing. And I'm going to be honest with you. I started laughing too because he was laughing. It was just kind of like I wasn't paying attention. But then it hit me. I said, whoa, wait a minute. How this motherfucker so comfortable to just walk up to me, a perfect fucking stranger, and tell me a racist ass joke like that without fear that I'm going to break his fucking jawbone? You see what I'm saying? That was blatant racism. So I said, oh, this is what I'm dealing with. You got this big bald head black guy telling these white people what to do. They ain't feeling too good about that. You understand what I'm saying? I had no idea this was an issue. I just figure if you're a fucking manager, you're a fucking manager. It don't matter your skin color. You understand what I'm saying? So obviously, I have no clue about the system of racism, white supremacy. And here I am going just mentally fucked up at this about it, my drinking heavy and all this. But anyway, so I call human resources. I'm kind of glad that I think I might have an idea what's going on. I say, hello, human resource lady. I think I know what's going on here. I'm dealing with racism. So human resources, they say, no, Daniel, it's not racism because, there was a black manager in the store before you. I said, oh, really? Let me talk to him. I would love to know I need some help. She says, well, no, you can't talk to him. I said, does he still work for the company? She said, yeah. I said, well, why can't I talk to him? And she says, well, you got a good team there. We don't need to stir up any trouble. It's not racism. There was a black guy there before you. I just think you need to just try to really work hard to build rapport. You have a really good team there. They always perform well. Okay? So I got off the phone with her. And I'm like, this is just not good. 2 days later, they transferred my ass to another store. You feel what I'm saying? So at the other store, same situations. I'm having pushback. So long story short, this stuff was driving me to a point. I'm drinking heavily. I've gained so much weight. I'm depressed. I don't want to go to work. And eventually it works on your body, and I end up damaging my back. You know what I'm saying? Over time, over the next few weeks or months. So I end up just retiring from the grocery business altogether. But did not have a clue about this thing called racism personally. And I think a lot of us have this same issue, but we just don't know it. And it don't become real to us until it's personal. But I want you to understand something right here, right now. Whether you, like me, experienced it on a job personally, you are experiencing it, the negative effects of it personally. You just don't know it. You have no way of identifying it. You understand what I'm saying? You are poor because of the system, racism, white supremacy. All of your negative situations are because of the system of racism, white supremacy. Don't take my word for it. Please, watch after you watch this, watch the video in the description by Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. I promise you. That video will explain to you so much. So much so of little things that you don't even think have anything to do with nothing will be explained in this video. Black men and boys sagging their pants. Me as a grown-ass man, when I see that, I'm baffled by it. I'm like, what in the fuck fashion statement is this? What is it? It'll be explained in the video. People, we are under attack and have been under attack since 1492. Since Christopher Columbus came here and started enslaving our people in the Caribbean islands. War was declared on us 6 months after that by the Roman Catholic Church, giving Christopher Columbus the authority to enslave, rape, pillage, and plunder our people. That war was never undeclared. You understand what I'm saying? As simple as that. Simple as that. Now, again, I wanted to talk about this situation with this police officer because it's real important. If there are any police officers watching this video, if there are any military people watching this video, please watch that video in the description. It's going to help you a whole lot. Now, and I'm going to just be honest with you. If you are a police officer and a military person, this topic is going to be hard for you because of the system of racism, white supremacy. You have been groomed to think a certain way. You are a tool for the system of racism, white supremacy. You are used to help keep your people in check. I hate to say it like that, but it's true. All of our minds are colonized, but different people are groomed certain ways. You understand what I'm saying? Police officers are special because you walk a tightrope. Your occupation in itself was created out of slave catching. You understand what I'm saying? And you may not have ever known about that before you took the position. You may never heard of it until I just said it right now. Your profession originated and still does is to keep your knee on the neck of your people. That can't be some easy shit to hear if you're a cop and you black. And in order to function in that capacity, subconsciously, you have to actually think very little of your people. You almost have to think of them as animals. Some of them. And some of them may truly act like fucking animals. You understand what I'm saying? But that's not the case. It's all mental programming. You as well as I know, situation ain't what we think it is. I mean, it ain't what it is. It's just like when I was a kid and I didn't respect my own neighborhood because by me believing all the bullshit that I heard from external sources while I actually live in the neighborhood, grew up with very good people. But here I am, programmed by outside external forces, telling me my shit is fucked up. And I'm believing them. You see what I'm saying? That's the fucked upness of this system of racism, white supremacy. Because we don't have black news organs, positive black television shows, and stuff like this. Now, before Cosby was on TV, we had no positive black TV shows. So when he came on the scene and he was pumping out them positive images of strong black family, that was very helpful to people like me. And I'm pretty sure that's a good reason. That's one of the reasons he in jail at the age of 81 years old right now. He damaged the system of racism, white supremacy to a point, and he's being punished for it. Now, people ain't going to say that. They ain't going to even think it. And there's a whole lot of other factors going on. You feel what I'm saying? But how is it that he's still in jail right now at his age? And the lady who calls Emmett Till to be killed is not in jail. How is it right now that Harvey Weinstein is not in jail? He abused a whole lot of women. Bill Cosby, in my opinion, has not abused not one woman. Them white freaks wanted drugs and they wanted that black man. You see what I'm saying? They got together and just did him wrong. And we did not back Bill Cosby because we figured, fuck it, he got what he He wanted to chase after them white women. Oh well. And that's the trick. No. We shouldn't have thought that way. The system of racism, white supremacy, is going to sacrifice a few of they white women anyway. They don't really give a fuck about one or two black men fucking a white woman. One or two doesn't matter. They look at it's a bigger picture. It's the bigger picture. They'll parade a successful black person out in front of you with a white wife. They'll in fact have you shoot for that goal. You know why? Because if you fucking a white woman, you're not building a family with a black woman. And that means you ain't gonna have no black babies. They win in that instance. You see how this works? It's warfare. It's chess, not checkers. That's why this channel and our goal is so important. We have to become very familiar with this system of racism, white supremacy, so we can tear it down. It has to come down. I refuse to leave this planet until this system is gone. I don't want my children to grow up under the stress and torturous hell that I've gone through. I will not go through this life. I will not leave this life for them and them not knowing that they are Aboriginal Americans and not West African slaves. And I hope you are starting to think the same way. You know, join this channel, subscribe to this channel, go back and watch all of my videos. There's bits and pieces of knowledge in each one of them. And if you can afford it, spend the $49 to get it's over 100 hours of material that'll get you caught up to speed real quick. It's a digital download. Or spend $199 for the coaching class. We spend 1 hour a week per month, video conference. We go over the course material, and then we spend an hour talking about it and getting on folk. The reason coaching I think is important is because when you're learning some stuff like this, it's going to depress you. You're gonna hit a mental wall because I'm only telling you what happened to me. I'm showing you exactly what I learned through this course material and how I dealt with it. So if I'm coaching you, I'm gonna help cut your learning curve, because the goal is to build an unstoppable, knowledgeable army. I need strong soldiers on our side of the chessboard, on the black side of the chessboard, to combat the opposite side of the chessboard is white supremacy. This takes knowledge. You understand? I want to take you by the hand and walk you through the downs. The downs is going to be depression. When a person dies, when a person leaves this planet, the people who love that person go through 5 stages of grief. I'm not sure if all I'm going to try to remember them. But anyway, when my mama passed, I went through these 5 stages of grief and didn't even know it. When I learned that I was not an African American, at that time I went through the 5 stages of grief. Matter of fact, let me just Google it, because shit, we might as well just have them in front of us. Ain't that what computers for? 5 stages of grief. How do you spell grief? Oh, okay. Okay, there you go. 5 stages of grief. When I found out I was not an African American, denial is the first stage, anger is the second stage, bargaining, 3rd stage, depression, 4th stage, acceptance, 5th stage. Now, depending on you, the individual, you may go through these 5 stages in a short period of time or a long period of time. But if you have a support team like me and other people in this group, you can deal with this a lot better and quicker, and you get back on your feet. I just recently spent almost 30 days going through another cycle of these 5 stages of grief. And you can watch the last video I just put up where I learned, and this was very hard for me because I'm B1, I'm black first. But I've learned that slavery here in America was kicked off by black people, melanated people, before the European colonies really kicked off in the 1600s. In the late 1400s, early 1500s, Sephardic Jews and Moors who were expelled out of Spain Some of them came here to the Americas and to the West Indies in the sugar cane production, sugar factories, and they created. They call them port Jews, and they had a network of stops. And the English and the French governments gave these people, and they were called Huguenots, free land here in the Americas to set up plantations, and that's when slavery started for us. So slavery was actually started by melanated people, black Europeans, black Sephardic Jews, and Moors, and that was depressing for me. So I had to learn what I had to learn, go through the 5 stages of grief, and be like, well, fuck, it is what it is. I mean, there's no way around it. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, the coaching course is what I call it. It's $199. The just the course material by itself is $49. Again, you can email me and we can get you caught up on it. And I just went off on a tangent, didn't mean to, but I just wanted to let you know about those 5 stages of grief. When your parents die, you'll go through those stages. If your children die before you, same thing. So by you learning that you aren't who you grew up thinking you are, you're losing that identity. You're going to go through those same 5 stages of grief. Okay? And I'm here for you. Okay? And again, the goal of this particular video was to shed light on the fact that this soldier gave his life as a protest to help spotlight this evil system of racism, white supremacy, as it exists in the policing industry. And I respect his sacrifice, and I wish he didn't have to do that. I mean, he from what I understand, he has children, loved ones. But look, this pressure is real. This shit had me bogged down. So much to the point, like I said, I gained weight, drinking heavy, damaged my back. This shit is real. It's for real, for real. And it's going to continue to kick us in our ass until we understand it. And today is your lucky day. Watch that video. It's going to be in the description. Okay? Please, it's very important. I beg you to watch that video. And share it. Don't just watch it. Don't hoard it. Share it. Even if you think people ain't going to understand it, just do it. Just get it out there. Just get it out there. It's going to hit everybody different. You understand what I'm saying? So I pretty much hit my points. I'm at the end of this video. And again, subscribe to the channel. Support the channel through Cash App and PayPal. And when you do subscribe, hit the bell and hit all so that you're notified of any and all videos when I upload them or I go live. Okay? That being said, please enjoy the rest of your day. And again, be one all the way.